Question in the middle, please.
Hi, Uffe Steeman from Denmark. First of all, sorry, Eric, because I want to talk to Natalie and Scarlett.
I can't imagine.
No, I know. Two of my favorite, two of the most talented actors in Hollywood at the same film at the same time. And then you're saying you actually liked shooting together. I mean, a couple of years back, you would have had catfights, you would have argued and everything. That's what I wanted to know about, but now you can't tell me that. So because you liked working together, you learned a lot from each other, you said. So I just have a very small question. I saw, Natalie, you had this big chain where you had the big B around your neck. Is that contemporary? Because I've never seen that in any other movie of that kind.
It's actually, it was one of Anne's trademarks. It's in all the Holbein portraits of Anne. It was something that she actually brought back when she came back from France, and she sort of started a trend with the letter necklaces. Yeah. And yeah, we loved working. There was a lot of, people keep asking if the rivalry was real, but I think we had to make it the opposite because it was just... First of all, we liked each other. And second of all,
Natalie was constantly apologizing for being terrible all the time. She was like, I'm sorry I'm stealing your baby. I'm sorry. I was like, it's okay, we'll get dinner and talk about it later.
Yes, your question in the back, please.
Hi, I'm Carol Guerrero from W Radio in Colombia. Question for the actors. I would like to know, how do you think this story could be interesting for the audience today?
Well, I think that, even though it's a historical piece, they're people, and I mean, the issues of love and sibling rivalry and court gossip, I mean, that's all stuff that we can relate to within our own communities, our own lives, and I mean, human emotion doesn't change, and it's still, I think that's one of the hard things for us to imagine is how history might have been sexy and gossipy and scandalous, is what this movie is, sort of shows. It's much like today.
Yeah, and I think that the way that the film was, directed, and that's of course due to Justin, he said from the very beginning, he was like, I don't want to make some, like costume drama where everybody's running around and screaming off with their head and that kind of a thing. He wanted it to be modernized, and he wanted to make sure that the sets and the cinematography and the costumes didn't isolate the audience from the humanity of the story.
Yes, your question in front, please.
Yeah, my name is David from Planet Interview. I have one question for Eric Bana. I've read in the internet you have some German roots in Wiesbaden. Maybe you can tell us some words in German. Maybe how do you like Berlin and Germany?
Come on.
Ja, ich kann aber vielleicht meine Co-Star weiß nicht, was ich sagen.
My co-stars won't know what I'm going to say, so here we go.
Thank you. That's enough. No, that's true. My mother is from near Mannheim, and so yes, I do have German roots. That's correct.
Okay, next question, please. Yes, please. Stand up, please. Yeah. You.
Yeah, thanks.
You got the microphone.
This is Jeremy, and I'm with World Express, and I've got a question to Eric, Natalie, and Scarlett. I would like to know, what were sort of the most difficult challenges in terms of approaching the different characters in the film that you approached, and how did you approach your characters in the film?
The most difficult thing for the most difficult thing for me was behaving in a demonstrative fashion towards these two lovely ladies, having to be mean to them occasionally, but it really takes trust. You develop a trust between your co-stars, whether you're doing a love scene or whether you're doing a scene that involves an unusual level of violence or whatever. You hope that the director has the peace of mind to schedule those things in a schedule in a sensible fashion, which Justin was created a wonderful atmosphere for us to do those scenes, and and I think we all trusted each other, so we were very fortunate to be well supported in that environment, because those scenes aren't always easy to do.
I don't know, everything seemed difficult to me. Like, I thought it was one of the most challenging projects I've ever worked on, but I agree with Eric that sort of the environment, the team spirit that I felt that we had was really helpful and supportive, and obviously Justin created an amazing atmosphere for us to work through all that difficulty, but I found it to be really challenging.
Yeah, it was a very emotionally draining, and certainly it seemed that every day something absolutely terrible was happening to me. But, it really, I think the most difficult thing for myself, and I know Natalie did such a beautiful job of kind of, imbibing her character with a sense of sort of, it's very sympathetic and sort of, there's a childlike quality that and Eric as well, I think, is you see the sensitive side of the character, whereas he could just be this kind of monster, and both actors brought such humanity to the film, and my own struggle, I think, was was staying away from being like so sweet and woe is me, and having this kind of, I wanted the character to be slightly ambitious in the beginning, so that there was like creating an arc, and I think all of us had a challenge in that we, none of us wanted to just do a one-note character, this tumultuous, these torrid affairs, and then, a good girl, bad girl rivalry thing. I mean, it's not like a comic book, so it was, I think, just making these characters, have many multifaceted.
Question on the right side, way in the